and gentlemen and non-binary folks, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. My name is Jinxeekatt. I am going to be your host, and with me tonight we have a very special guest, CoCaster PLURninja. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well, Jinxeekatt. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun doing these casts.
I'm super excited. It's our first cast together. Here's hoping for many more. I'm going to just do some stuff on the fly real quick because I realized I need to turn down my game sound. Otherwise, it's going to deafen everybody, and we don't want that. So
Yep.
turn that
Always
down.
more production to do, never end.
As always,
Even when you have everything set and ready, a Windows update comes and bam, gotta reset everything.
Oh, that's the worst. The amount of times that I've been like 5 minutes left on the timer and the Windows is like, would you like to restart now? Yes or yes. And you're like, oh no. So you have to let everyone...
I liked the idea of the option, but yeah.
Yeah, the pretend choice. Alrighty, so we have two wonderful teams for you guys today. Here as we round out the end of the season for our heroic friends, it is going to be Kryix Tempest versus Fancy Flightless Fowl. Taking a look at our maps here. We're actually going to go ahead and get started, so let's take a quick look at these. We have the first map pick going over to Kryix as... the first pick was taken by Fancy Flightless Fowl. So as you can see here, our blue team managed to ban out BOE and Battlefield of Eternity. The members of Fancy Flightless Fowl banned away Towers of Doom and Tomb of the Spider Queen. And our first map this evening is going to be on Infernal Shrine, which is the most picked map in Heroic.
Yeah, it's definitely a great map to play on. It's definitely one of my favorites. I just really like the tight quarters that those objectives are on, and it allows for so much different play for different heroes. There's so many heroes nowadays, especially like your hoggers and everything that can bounce off of those walls, and it's just a really good, solid overall map.
Absolutely. Lots of different ways to play. Like you said, we've seen a lot more at the higher end of the spectrum for our NGS divisions. Folks even, ignoring that Punisher, ignoring the first or second Punisher to get value elsewhere with heroes like Sonya or, like you said, the Hogger. So not always necessarily... the way that I think, maybe you and I would play. I don't know where your rank is sitting, but I'm at the bottom of gold right now.
Oh, I'm not even there. So yes, that's right up my alley too. Yeah, but as you were saying, a lot of teams actually in the higher ends usually will preface getting any sort of map pressure over any sort of specific objective, especially with areas or maps where the objective scales a lot harder. Like those really early Dragon Knights don't usually get a whole lot of value.
Yeah.
Getting that experience and being able to maintain that experience leads whenever you get them, that is really what's key into slingshotting you into a win later in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you said, I mean, the big thing is just about finding that pressure on the map, finding those leads. That's why heroes like Sonya have become so popular. Curious to see if she'll get through tonight. We usually see Sonya and Hogger go hand in hand with bans, as well as Medivh and Uther. So as we're starting in, I'm going to bring us over to the draft screen as we head into game number 1. And Plur, are you expecting to see any of those tippy top S-ranked heroes come through, or does that just become, the staple ban for us?
Well, like you said, this is close to the end of the season, so I believe we're near the actual end, correct? If I'm not mistaken. So it might be anything wild. I think I saw somebody mention a Cho'Gall in chat, so that's a possibility. So yeah, if they're going to be playing serious, they're probably going to do the S-tier bans. But with that Lucio being the first one, that really makes me question what kind of fun stuff we might be looking at.
Absolutely. We'll have to wait and see. So one of those 4 picks that we mentioned is going to come through today. Now, Lucio has also really been high on everyone's priority, especially here at the end of the season. We've seen a lot of him in Storm Division. Medivh going to be banned away by Kryix. And if anyone in chat knows, is it Kryix? Is it Kryix? I feel bad. I meant to ask earlier, and I didn't. May.
Getting those pronunciations are always hard.
Right, I know. Another good one that chat has just mentioned. Somebody gets banned away. There's the Hogger. So, Fancy Flightless Fowl, they do have first picks, so they can pick any of these heroes that our blue friends don't want to or ban out yet. Things like Chromie, Sonya,
I would be very surprised if this isn't a Sonya ban that they pick it up instantly, and especially with it now being a Diva ban as well. I would be snap picking that Sonya. This is a very hard offlane choke right now.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of good heroes still available, but really none tops the Queen right now.
I would be surprised by some other picks like that Chromie though. Interesting, a Falstad instead. So this is really kind of showing you right where they're thinking. They're definitely heavily prioritizing that macro.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking through here, Brightwing coming through as well. So Falstad has risen to priority quite a bit. A lot of Falstad bans coming through, and that's the thing, is there are so many tippy top good heroes right now that you just can't ban them all. So lots of map pressure versus lots of map pressure here.
Yeah, especially with Falstad getting that upgrade on his Q to have that boomerang as the base on the base is so crucial, and like it just completely changes the way that you can get the experience and whatnot with him. That was almost a guaranteed pick at that talent tier because of how much it improved his wave clear.
Absolutely. We have the Uther coming through here as well. You know, another one we were talking about. I love me a good tank Uther. Stukov gonna be banned away as the members of Kryix are expecting this to be
a tank instead of the main healer.
Yeah, exactly. Not going to be a solo support Uther. Everyone's suspecting that it is going to be tank. You know, it's my absolute favorite play of Uther. And I'm very jealous because I never get to play Uther anymore. As Deathwing is going to be banned out here by the members of Fancy Flightless Fowl.
Yeah, this map is really good for that triple bruiser kind of playstyle, and Deathwing has definitely been the most popular third bruiser in that kind of a setup.
Does lots of good damage.
Did get the May though, so we are happy about that tank. And following up with the Savannah, it's another one that's very popular on this map because if you do end up getting that Punisher, being able to help that push is crucial.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go ahead and finish all of our hero picks in here so far because I am very behind. But yeah, you know, every hero that we've talked about has either been banned or picked away right now. The two final picks coming in for Alfie and Gingy with Greymane and Alex Straza. An interesting pickup here. Now, we always know that, you know, it's always been said that this is Alex Straza's best map, but we haven't seen her for quite some time, Plur.
Yeah, she's definitely been out of the meta, but she has got to be one of my favorite healers at heart. Ever since she came out, I've always been like, I can turn into a dragon. That is so me. But we got a Junkrat as that last one, as also a pseudo global if they do end up going that 13 talent to be able to push them around faster. So both teams are definitely heavily prioritizing getting that macro into this map.
Lots and lots of wave clear, that's for sure. Lots of camp clear, as you said. I remember seeing Alex. We head into game number 1. I'm going to bring it back on over to us. I was actually at BlizzCon when they released her and Hanto, and they were showing all of the gameplay, and everyone was going super, you know, crazy nuts. She's really, really fun to play. We don't get to see her as much as we'd like to, and I think it's such a shame. We're gonna get to see her today in Heroic Division. Maybe, you know, some of the lower divisions will watch this and see that she is viable, because I absolutely adore her.
Yeah, definitely. There is so much that you can do with it, and I'll be interested to see what they would pick on this map, especially because with this map in particular, a lot of people like to go that W build for
Right.
the wide range of healing. But
Mm-hmm.
personally, I'm a big fan of that build because you can just basically heal forever, literally infinitely.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Once you get that level 7 with the flower, you spend no mana, you spend no health. If you can stay above 75% health, then it's basically like having an Ariel, but you don't have to generate that hope.
Exactly.
Alrighty, we're gonna head on into game number 1 here. I know I keep telling you guys it's game number 1, but I see a lot of new faces who are just joining us. So over here on the blue side, we have Kryix Tempest with Bridge to Death, gonna be that May. Moist on the Sonya. Will to Live is our Sylvanas. Ravar playing that Junkrat, and TT Wolfie will be your Brightwing. Who's over here rocking the red health bars?
On the red side, we have fancy flightless Fowls with Alfie on the Greymane, Tanksta on the Uther, Blood Knight on Falstad, Herbatronic on the Auric, and Gingy Boy on that Alexstrasza. And looks like it is going to be that Q build for her.
Really hoping to try and stay back. We have that extra recharge, the cooldown reduction when above 75% health. Now, the hardest thing is actually staying at 75% health. Hopefully, she'll be able to stay back and not get picked off. Not a crazy amount of dive yet from Kryix, but definitely it could be changed up here. And a little bit of spice from May as well, as we're going for that Ice Storm level 1 as opposed to the heat transfer that we typically see. So looking for extra damage on the Blizzard.
It makes me wonder if they are looking for more of a blow-up setup in all of this, which could eventually possibly mean a leap Sonya. I don't know. It's definitely possible. But look at this Falstad. He's going down very low. The entire team chasing after him, and we're able to get him down. Just a little bit of bad rotation there, giving first blood.
Really solid pickup by the blue team. However, in the bottom, that is going to be that bottom camp taken away. Oh no, stuck in the all chat. You should have come to me, says Gingy Boy. Oh, well, nothing they can't dust off. First blood. It's not like League of Legends. There is no bonus XP, no bonus gold. But they are going to grab bottom camp as a trade out there. Both teams are looking to get their own camp. As Alfie is finishing this up here. May stopping down to clear out these bottom impalers. A little bit of damage coming out there.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the teams and I'm trying to think basically scaling on both sides, and it's fairly even really. They have both late scalers and early scalers on both sides, but I definitely think that a lot of these fights are going to explode once we get to that later stage of the game, especially after those ults.
Level 10s are really going to make plays happen here. There are lots of different ways the teams can go. We're going to look at our coolest and most attractive players right now. They are our offlane players. They sacrifice that screen time so that we can have XP. So make sure you guys all, go home. Thank your offlaners as we get started for our very first try. Going to be up here in the top lane. Everyone else is just back on that soak game. Going back to what you said about scaling, is we don't have a whole lot of quests right now. Falstad perhaps later on will do more damage with that level 1 frequent flyer, but nobody has a quest yet on the side of Kryix Tempest, so what they got is what they got.
Yeah, they're just definitely worried about managing their waves and whatnot, and especially they like seeing the tower being on the top lane at here, because then that just opens up the entire map so that you have to choose whether you want to be all the way up here doing the objective or trying to fight against this push. As you can see right here, Sylvanas is doing massive structure damage right here as everybody's prepping for that objective up there. And they're even diving in all the way onto this Greymane, who does manage to get away.
Alfie is going to have to hearth back up in the top lane. Blood Knight is starting on that objective. 10 already picked up. The rest of the team going to have to come down and try and fight it out with this bottom defense here. Jinji getting quite low. Alex gonna go down. Big stun onto May. Right wing will come and get the heal. Uther goes down as well. Has the extra healing for Alfie, but that black arrows are back up, and that is going to be the first fort of the game going over to Kryix, who are hoping to get, you know, more value than the Punisher, because just as we were talking about in the draft, these first Punishers don't seem to get much more than towers.
Ooh,
maybe
Sonya.
if you're lucky. Ooh, Sonya. T2ers, everyone. Try to step up there. It ends up going down.
Yeah, they were trying to be pestering on that objective to make it delay as much as possible, but they did take the bite off more than they can chew. But the rest of the team is in here to get revenge on that. A lot of damage onto that Sylvanas.
Braver getting very
Dragon
low.
Queen out.
Dragon Queen has been popped. Really great abundance there by Jinji, able to save Leoric's life. Blood Knight is going to Hearth back. They have the ability to fly anywhere on the map, so we'll be back in if they want to push top. Right now it looks like Leo's going to deal with Sonya. Falset's going to deal with bottom. This Punisher will jump over. With only Uther, Greymane, and Alex Straza here, not looking to push very hard at all. In fact, this should just be the front wall. If that, one tower.
And this is exactly highlighting what you were talking about earlier, is how the entire push down bottom secured an entire fort, while this Punisher barely even got the wall.
Always tough on Infernal Shrine to understand what you need to be doing. When should you take the Punisher? When should you push? And hopefully, you know, a Fancy Flightless Fowl will be able to step back in. Both teams going to get started on these camps here. And now we're going to look down on the bottom. Curious to see if we'll have a little bit of a duel. Oh, never mind. That changes that. No duel over the bottom as level 10s have been picked up for Kryix here. Anything catching your eye as far as the heroic scope, Plurm?
I see that Sonya's... oh, she did end up going Wrath. She even picked up the Poison Spear at level 7, so I was looking like it was going to be that leap, but they did end up going into the Wrath. They didn't even go for the Mind Control either, so it looks like since those were the last two picked, I bet that they were actually discussing that in comms and made some last-minute changes. I fully expect that they went into this build with something else, but Leoric is getting that in tune.
Level 10 coming out, and Tomb comes out. Ice Wall comes out. There's the Riptire. A couple of big rogues being burned. Falset flying in. Does have that Mighty Gust. Alex Straza, interestingly enough, going for that Cleansing Flame. We typically see Lifebinder out of her. And I'm just as shocked and surprised as you are about that Wrath of the Berserker, because we've actually been seeing Leap the more consistently picked heroic lately, just due to the fact that it does give you that extra bit of engage, especially with the Uther tank coming through for a lot of teams. Now granted, Uther Sonya not on the same team this time, so they must feel they have enough of the engage from the May. We're gonna see a boop over onto Alfie, ends up getting stuck in that trap, will go down, and a great play by Will to live there. Tanksta now in a bit of trouble. D-Shield to save his life. Ice Wall's out again. Bridge to Death tries to get the body block. Not going to be there. Wailing Arrow does come out once again. There's the Entomb, and that is Tanksta so low. The gust into Tanksta nearly finds him dead. Moist coming in. Big stun, though. Uther will end up going down as Moist trade their life. Herbatronic is in the back. Will to live is so low, and no, it's Leo who ends up going down instead. I see what Falsite was trying to do there, but maybe when your team is low, they should have gusted them away, as there is going to be that Riptire coming out, a little bit of extra damage. And what looked like a really solid play for Fancy Flightless Fowl ends up going over. A 2-0 to Kryix Tempest.
Yeah, those were really strong ultimate uses on both teams. Every single one of them were in a very good situation. The Falstad for Gus was even good itself, except it was just, like you said, at a bad time because the team couldn't follow up on it as well because they were so low, because everything else was landing. You could really see that both of these teams have coordinated these ultimate uses.
Perfectly timed. Nobody got blown out of the Entomb or anything. So really great communication from them. Sonya going to step up to the top as Curse Bullet actually comes out in the bottom. She has to clear out this bruiser camp from the members of the red team, but it looks like they're just going to have to trade over this Punisher. Going to be an arcane Punisher, so not necessarily the worst, you know, not the best to deal with like the mortar, but is going to be a little bit less frightening than that a frozen Punisher. Ice Wall does come out. Alfie going to be unstoppable thanks to the level 7 from Uther there. They managed to get away. Front wall is down. Punisher's still very healthy. See a fancy Flightless Fowl. Can't turn this around as the stun comes out. Polymorph comes out. Ooh. Uther goes down once again. Definitely getting that trait value. Herb running for their life, healing up. They have to forego the abundance to make sure they don't end up going down. That is going to be continued push from the members of Kryix here, chasing in John Cena. No love for the red team. They're going to grab this front wall before heading up to the top lane.
So I think that fight was actually a perfect example of why the team Tempest, Kryixy Tempest, I keep messing it up. Why they were making those ultimate choices changes. I think like what you were saying earlier about the leap was actually part of why it was mitigated was because that they have the Uther on that side, and Uther is there to help protect against that burst. So being able to go in as just a constant extra damage and then even getting that silence in from range on the Sylvanas instead of just trying to go for a single target pick off, they're able to control these fights in a different way than would normally be expected.
It's a really solid point. I hadn't considered that. And Tomb going to come out. Chris Bullet comes out. May going to immediately pop that cryo freeze. Going to see the Gust comes out. Junkrat also using the Riptire. Team's just backing off as it's going to be a camp going over to Fancy Flightless Fowl, who are looking to bite back here. Going to see Falstad caught in the ice. Everyone looking for blood. Sonya comes in. Wrath has been popped. Leo scooting away. Moist bites off more than he can chew. That's going to be Sonya going down. The second kill on the board for Fancy Flightless Fowl, but they aren't done. Big stun, though, from May with that Blizzard. Revar bridge to death, running for their lives. Oh, no. Uther may be trading out, and there we go. 1 for 1. Going to heal it out. Cleansing Flame comes out. Is not going to be enough there, though.
And there's another showcasing of the blow-up style that they're building around. A lot of that damage came from that level 1 talent that you mentioned for May.
Every third tick getting that extra damage, and the stun damage, of course, 150% against all enemies. So great for clearing waves, great for damaging people in close quarters. 16's now online for Kryix here, who are just looking to rotate around the map. And I think, Plur, this is one of the hard things, maybe you can give me some insight to it, with Infernal Shrines. I feel like it's very hard to come back on this map.
I definitely can understand that, but I think with every map in general, just the idea of being able to control your waves and safe soak is really huge. As you can see right now, they're doing that just perfectly because they see that everybody has been rotating up into the top. They didn't necessarily have full vision, but knew that that was the area that they wanted to be in, and with being still down a talent tier, they did not want to take any of that fight. But now that we have both teams at level 16, that Leoric is taking a lot of damage, ends up getting caught out and taken out just right before the objective starts. But they are going to be able to get some pressure onto this fort to help get this push if they are able to take it. Looks like they are going to back off now, though. They don't want to take that fight down one extra member, even though they are talent tier advantage.
Absolutely. If you're Herbatronics right there, you're just like, well, damn. You see the blue ping on the map. You know it's not your team. There's no place safe to go. The Sonya's already on top of you. There really isn't much to do. Luckily, it is a Leo, so, you know, trait value. We see Falstad flying in. Ice Wall going to catch 2 members. There's the Blizzard coming out. Big gust. Not going to allow them much more damage. Sylvana's going to come in with the Wailing Arrow. Dragon Queen has to be popped. Boop into that Entomb. Lots of damage onto Junkrat. Will to live going down invulnerable. Saving the life of Tanksta there. Sonya will go down. There's Dragon Queen landing very aggressively in the back. Looking for blood. May goes down. 3 members taken out. Wolfie and Rayvar can do nothing. nothing but run and hide as the members of Fancy Flightless Fowl showing signs of life. They take the camp. They're going to take this objective, and we'll see what else they can take as they look to push it on the map.
That was a very interesting bait that they had with the Leoric there onto that trap. And oh, Sylvanas is going down. And oh, wait, nope. Brightwing is there to save. And that was very close. That would have been really bad having that extra death being a stagger. But that was a very interesting. So what they essentially did is they took the Leoric and said, hey, even if you do manage to kill me again, you're using everything you have on me. And they basically just made the blue team waste all of their ults and were able to turn around. And that was a kind of an answer to your question about the Alexstrasza ult. She was very, very close to dying there and managed to get away and then heal up her entire team along with Ether.
You know, everyone says Heroes doesn't have those comeback mechanics, but we are seeing that is definitely not the case. Interestingly enough, I thought for sure the Fancy Flightless Fowl were going to grab that objective. They weren't able to get it. However, it was a totally free clear for them. They were able to just push it out in the bottom. Top camp was once again taken by blue team, who's rotating around, grabbing a lot of this, but the XP deficit is next to non-existent here for Fancy Flightless Fowl, who are still able to come back. You know, this is Heroes of the Storm. Honestly, most Heroes games, all you need is one really strong team fight in the late game, and you can probably turn it around and win.
Yeah, it's definitely true, especially with the late game death timers. Once you get those team fights, even no matter how far behind you are, if you are able to still control the map after that and just continue staggering deaths, essentially, that is going to just secure you those wins. And I know North American best NA team was Heroes Hearth, and they always said that if you weren't down 3 keeps, you weren't winning.
That's how it be sometimes. You know, we've seen a lot of really strong comebacks, and I can't remember who it is for the life of me. Old StarCraft player who used to say, as long as you had one base and a chair, you were able to win. And that's the same thing with Heroes of the Storm. If you've got 1% on that core and you've got a chair, you can turn this around and win it. So it's not over till it's over. So any of you, you know, quick match into Zebos who see somebody die at 30 seconds into the game and GG go next, that is absolutely not the case.
Yeah, it's so true. And now that both teams are level 20, I'm very excited to see what we're getting here. Do you see anything picked up that's catching your eye?
So the first thing that draws my eye here, player, is that composite spear. So that's the increased range on the spear and then getting the armor. Typically we've seen, you know, ignore pain coming out from Sonya, just being able to fight into that back line. She's going for insane burst here this time round. Other than that, it all looks to be fairly standard, save Fairy Protector coming in for Brightwing, not the invisible friends that we usually see. So a lot of those heroic
that is interesting.
Yeah, a lot of those heroic
I think
upgrades.
it's a lot to work with the, just the main thing I really see from that is to assist with that level 13. Even though they nerfed it, it's still a lot of extra healing, and to be able to keep up against 2 healers, you kind of have to do whatever you can.
Makes sense to me. We're gonna see that Blizzard come out once again. Leo has finished their level 16 quest there. Icewall not gonna connect. Big wind tunnel coming out. Herbatronics is very low in the back, but now Moist goes in with the Wrath is low. We're gonna see a heal coming out here from Alexstrasza. Has gone for the on Ruby Wing, so she will jump down back in the Dragon Queen form. We are gonna see those Chattering Teeth coming in. Great unstoppable by Herbatronics to make sure nobody else gets caught in those roots. And now Bloodlight is just maintaining the wave here. They've completely pushed out Kryix Tempest, so we're trying to get back in, nearly tied up here with the skeletal defenders. Moist taking so much damage. Double dragon coming out from Jinji. The members of the blue team running for their lives. Can they do much? All of their heroics are on cooldown. These shields still available. Are gonna see a big Wim Buffett from Alex there, but Leo will go down. Uther's the next to go down. The re-engage is beautiful. Lots of damage onto Alfie, trying to get away. Jumps into Worgen form, not going to be enough. Gonna be negative armor for Alex, ends up going down. It's just Tankstar who has returned. 39 to 39. That's a 5-man team wipe, Fleur. And that is going to be our Mortar Punisher coming through, and I think we're beginning to look at the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it definitely is looking like it, and that was a very, very well played by Team Kryix Tempest. With the level 20 plus the level 16 on Alex Strauss's Dragon, being able to just try to secure that point so strong, but the fact that she was a dragon for so very long, but they still weren't able to manage to secure the fight because Tempest was just not willing to fight into that.
Absolutely, just waiting patiently for the dragon to wear out so they can come back in, get lots of damage. Game number 1 going over to the blue team, Kryix Tempest. We'll see what Fancy Flightless Fowl are looking to do here in a moment. So we'll take a look at these stats, talk about some of the talents.
Yeah, so I think we definitely covered a lot of it during the game. Most of it was pretty standard. I think we highlighted a lot of the most interesting things. Leoric definitely had a fairly interesting build, but I have been seeing it a lot more lately. A lot of people liking those basic attacks.
We'll jump over here before we talk about some of the stats. Just to see what that is. The Ossian Renewal, Neil Peasant, Strain Momentum, Entomb, of course, Spectral Leech, Mithril Mace, and then the Buried Alive. So yeah, much different than what we typically see, and even more different than, you know, just our Leo build we've lovingly referred to as suck build, going with that drain life there. So worked out really well in that last team fight. He's able to stay alive for quite a while. Unfortunately, just wasn't their game today.
Yeah, it was definitely well played on both sides, and you did see that life coming back into them during that third objective, but like you said, it was that massive team fight at the very end that really secured it all.
So we do have a second game here, so we'll hop in there in just a second, head over to the map. I always like to talk about the stats really quickly. I'm in before, you know, some master player is like, stats don't matter. No, they don't, but it's fun. It's fun to talk about, you know, big number make monkey brain happy. So looking through here, I always just like to talk about the damage. Big damage coming out from Will to Live there, 55k on the Junkrat compared to the 40k of Greymane. Just really well done by Will to Live. You don't typically, you know, consider Junkrat to be that you know, hyper carry big damage champion.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those where the damage is just constantly happening and you most of the time are just shrugging it off, but that adds up after a while and you take enough of those grenades to your face and then all of a sudden you're low and then Sylvanas is diving into your face to finish you off. Yeah, it adds up pretty quick. And while you do have 2 healers on your side, that just usually means that you're more willing to take that damage and can really boost those numbers up.
Absolutely. So we have our game number 2 here. If you're just now joining, then welcome. I'm Jinxeekatt. With me is the wonderful PLURninja. We are in game number 2 of our best of 3 series with Kryix Tempest versus Fancy Flightless Fowl. Our second game of the evening is going to be Alterac Pass, and it looks like this was picked once again by the blue team. All right.
This is definitely one of those interesting maps that, because of the way that it's formatted, you really have to look at the macro at a strong sense. And I definitely will be expecting a lot of consideration towards those triple bruiser comps, or at least some sort of damage that can safely soak a lane on their own.
Definitely, it makes sense to see. Now, the interesting thing about Alterac Pass here is I feel like there's a little bit different of a team comp that you have to draft. Similar to Cursed Hollow, you don't just have, one offlaner in the offlane who does their thing. There is no double soaking that is really available on this map since all 3 lanes are equally spaced apart. We can usually see some wonky picks that we don't normally get to see. Things like Illidan, Asmodan, Zagara all have their place here. And what always starts out as, pick Asmodan, LOL. Actually, it gets value. It's all about that push.
Yeah, it really does. And I'm definitely one of those fans myself. I used to be those Zagaras that would go Nidus all the time and just go between the lanes. And I would come to the objectives when the fight was happening. But then I'd be like, I'm just going to drop all my abilities and then head back to lane. And it doesn't work as much as it used to back in the day. But it's still an effective strategy if you play it right.
Have to see what they're going for, and yeah, it works here. There are a couple of maps where you can kind of get away with it still. Some of those being like Garden of Terror, Sky Temple, Cursed Hollow to an extent. It's all about what you can really do here. And I think one of the reasons that is because this objective isn't necessarily the strongest.
No, it really isn't. It's mainly one of those objectives that is made to empower what you're already doing on the map. So it's really important to be able to not only protect your objective while it's going, but maintaining that soak is so huge. Constantly getting that experience is really what's going to get your team in order to get a good advantage.
Definitely. And that's a great way to put it. Sometimes you get that objective, but if you're so far behind, then you really don't get the value you're necessarily hoping out of it. And just to put a pin in that for a second, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot to say, Big O Balkan, thank you very much for subscribing for 2 months in a row. Hello. It's so good to see you. I hope you're still here and you don't feel like I completely ignored you, because I assure you that wasn't the case. Good to see ya. All right, back to the draft. Falstad gonna be banned away, and this time Hermitronic gonna pick up that Sonya first.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting last game, was for them to first pick it. I liked what they were trying to go with there, and I think that because they got that Falstad banned out of them respectfully, just like they banned that Sylvanas, but it looks like they are going to go with that Leoric taking it on their side this time, one of those offlaners that we were talking about.
Lots of respect coming out here today. Even though Kryix, they had a great early game, they had, a pretty strong middle game. That mid-late game was looking kind of spicy in favor of Fancy Flightless Fowl. So lots of respect coming out for both these teams here as they're looking over these comps and going, ooh, that looked pretty fun last game. What if we try that?
So you think this is just another solo tank Uther? It's definitely possible.
I would not be surprised. In fact, I am going to say that I think this is going to be an Uther main tank. Stukov going to be banned out once again. That is a very strong follow-up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another really high damage hero coming out here. Something we don't typically get to see, maybe like a Vala, something to carry in, or they have a Grey Mane actually. Maybe like a May. It's like an Orphea, I think, would really fit in well here for Fancy Flightless Fowl.
Most definitely. These second bans are exactly the same as the other round, being basically looking at the same situation that they were in last time. But let's see if they change up what they are going to respond with it, though. Still going with that May.
Riker, thank you for the 100 biddies. All the love to you as well. Cassia coming out this time for Rayvar as they're sticking to the core concepts, I feel, on the side of Kryix Tempest of, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. So we're definitely looking at another healer at this point, I would assume, and then some sort of more damage or bruiser. Just something to control the map with, or Grey Mane might not be enough. There's going to be the mage, and then there's the Anduin. So Uther and Anduin, they've been very well known to work together both in lore and in game.
So we expected the mage. I was wondering if we'd see something like an Ana, because Ana Uther is a very powerful combo together. I do really like the Anduin here as well. He provides a lot of the potential to save folks. So if anybody gets engaged on, like they did so hard last time, or if we get caught in an entomb, you can yoink them out, leap them to safety. And we also have a light bomb leap potentially coming out here.
Oh, those are always fun to look into. But we actually got double support on both sides this time. We got the Malfurion after they already had the Brightwing, so that kind of tells me that they're expecting the Brightwing to do a lot of the side lane soaking and keep Malfurion with that Cassia.
This is really crazy to me. I've never seen a comp quite like this. So if Kryix Tempest does come in, we'll have to talk to them about that, because I don't know. That's a lot of lockdown. That's a lot of, CC and whatnot, but that's a lot of squish too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really interested to see what that level 1 is going to be. Okay, it is still the new Emerald Dreams with the sleep, because that is just so freaking strong, but I definitely wouldn't have been surprised if he was going to try to go for the reduced healing.
Definitely something we could have seen. We're seeing Treant come out a lot more, getting those stacks, getting that extra mana. We head on in. Once again, on the left-hand side, we have Kryix Tempest with Bridge to Death on the May. Moist is going to be your Leo. Will to Live on that Brightwing. Ravar on the Cassia. And Wolfie will be your Malfurion.
And on the right side, with fancy flightless Fowls, we've got Alfie on the Greymane, Blood Knight on Kel'Thas, Tanksta on Uther, Gingy Boy on Anduin, and Herbatronic on Sonya.
Taking a look at these level 1s. Aussie and Renewal once again coming out from Leo, stacking from Cassia, Thunderstroke, as both teams are going to duel it out here. Big root damage coming out. Herbatronic going to be the one saved out. Tanksta going to actually get away with 250 health. Herb, oh no, very, very low. They're chasing in. We're going to get the stun out from Tanksta. Gingy, though, is trying to survive. The double support is too much, and it ends up being Brightwing who goes down as first blood. So much healing coming out of these holy boys.
So rip the idea of just going on to soak right away, and let's just brawl it out, friends. Let's go.
This is an ARAM now.
Right, exactly. But they do end up going out to soak as soon as that did happen. They did try to pressure a little bit more on the Penguins after that, but it's not. Death timers are low. Brightwing has a teleport. They weren't going to be able to do anything too crazy. So they're looking to just basically go directly onto these camps. Now, these camps are very unique in the fact that they respawn way faster than most camps like this normally do, primarily because they are one of the only ones on the map. So it's really important to try to get this as much as you can, because it's essentially an entire wave's worth of experience.
I couldn't agree more. We always talk about that. This is the true objective on the map. They respawn every minute and a half or so, like you said, a minute and a half. They are also the only remaining units in the entire game that give buildings negative armor. So my team always likes to joke that this is the true boss on the lane. You're going to see big damage coming out there as those gnolls brawl it out. Ravar taking quite a bit of damage. Big stun, though, coming out of Bridge to Death. Skates in, tries to find that stun combo onto Blood Knight. Not going to be able to do so. The teams back it up. Root coming out once again. Leap of Faith saves the day.
And they're definitely doing a lot of brawling right now, trying to see if they can get one team with an advantage, and that root into another root into a sleep, but Cassie is taking a lot of stuns herself. Going back and forth constantly over and over, but the healing is here, so they're just going to keep on trading, kind of boosting stats on each other's side. Nobody does end up going down, but they did have some close encounters there.
It's getting really spicy. Blood Knight may have overstayed their welcome. Going to try and get away. Only 9 globes on that level 1, so that is going to be the first kill. Going over to Kryix Tempest now, as he ends up just being a little too far out of lane. Nobody to help him. No Brightwing to teleport in. Rest of the team looking to get work done. In fact, Knowles are up once again. We still have 5 seconds before Knowles will return on the blue side. And that's just thanks to the fact that Greymane does significantly more camp damage than really anybody on the side of Kryix Tempest.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to get these waves in. They did lose a fair bit of experience in mid lane, but they are able to try and get that picked up, going for the bruisers themselves. But it looks like they're positioning onto the blue team's objective, and they're actually going to get a free cast of this. It's taking way too long for the blue team to capture these camps, comparatively.
Ice X, thank you for the raiding party. Welcome, viewers of Ice. Hope you had a wonderful stream, my friend. It's so good to see you. And jumping on to what you were saying, Plur, yeah, lots of damage coming out here. Those defenders not able to stop. The camp just taking so long to finish up there, as you mentioned. 9 seconds left, but finally, Kryix Tempest are going to be able to get this back and look for an engage of their own.
Definitely putting on the pressure now, but Fancy Pants is not trying to go in too deep. Kel'Thas is actually just soaking the wave here, not even respecting the fact that the objective's being attacked and he could easily be just ganked from there. But it looks like they did have the priorities on that objective and did manage to get a channel off. They were pretty close to losing someone, but I think that's exactly why they went with that double support in order to help against that.
Big Sun coming out on to Gingy Boy there. He's surrounded by everybody. Rayvar dueling it out with Sonya in the back. We see Gingy try and get the interrupt. Moist will stop them. 7 seconds left. They're trying to get in. Is going to be the first objective going over to the side of Kryix Tempest. Either finishing that level 1. Will to live, though, going to go down. Bridgestone running for their life. Rayvar next on the chopping block, but Alfie does not want to risk taking any more of those tower shots. So just Brightwing going down. Maybe?
Ooh. Okay. No Fury in there to come in and help, and so is May to even turn it around back onto Alfie. No, he isn't going to get caught up by that this time. But yeah, that's a blue team objective. They did lose a member to it, so let's see how much they can get. It looks like middle is already on the walls, but it doesn't look like it's going to be getting too far into it. We do have a strong push in bot lane, but they're going with it, and Heroic is getting some damage up the top.
3 members down, pushing in the bottom. KT dealing with mid. Just front walls here, which once again, first objective, it is what you expect to see. First time this map came out, it was completely overtuned with the objective, where basically, if you lost a fight at level 4, then that basically dictated the whole pace of the game. So I can understand why Blizzard developers want to make these a little bit less strong, because you know, no game should really be dictated a minute and a half in. So camps are cleared out.
A very early boss call here, and May is not wise of it. They are going to get through, but she's going to scout it out, and she's going to get stunned up and not able to get onto the point, even though tried to use that ult in order to stop it, but she was just CC'd way too long to be able to do anything.
Way too late there. Everybody noticing, huh, no one's in lane. I wonder why. And then really beautiful CC layering there from Fancy Flightless Fowl. We're looking for vengeance in this game number 2. KT gonna finish that level 1 mana addict coming in. And now they're going to get about as much down here in the bottom with this boss as that objective did get. Front wall goes down. Maybe the well. Maybe.
Oh,
goodbye.
Yeah, getting the well is actually huge, because that removes a lot of sustain there.
Our next objectives are going to be top, so Kryix Tempest still has a solid chance to fight this out. We're going to see a big fight coming here in this middle lane. Level 10's online for everybody. Pretty standard all across the board. Cassia going for the ball lightning. It's usually kind of up in the air what she'll go, as both heroics are very solid. The big one for me, though, is we have Pyroblast for KT.
Oh, this is really spicy with that one. Going against a double support comp, that means that you're very confident that you're going to be able to secure those kills.
Absolutely. Light Bomb comes out. Great unstoppable there. Big stun. There's the follow-up. Divine Storm. Twilight Dream, though, biting back. All 4 members are silenced. Moist is very low. Leo goes down despite that great entomb. They trade out Alfie. They keep on running it through. Uther going to be the next to go down. Gingy has been left to his own devices.
Oh,
Not
no.
even the ghost of Uther can save him. What looks so good for them at the start ends up being a 3-for-1. It's a 3 for a Leo, so that just feels extra bad.
Yeah, May did an amazing job at just basically sucking up all of the enemy team's engage and being able to. They did end up turning around and putting the rest of their damage into Leoric, who went down surprisingly fast. If that was a level 20 in Tube, that wouldn't have happened, but instead he got a face full of damage. But like you said, trading that out for the 3 members of the rest of the team was definitely worth. They're all out of gas after that point.
Absolutely. The members of Kryix Tempest here coming back in as their double support is getting online. Big stun. Bridge to death is going to be hit by the Pyroblast. Brightwing comes in. And this is the problem with the Pyro I was going to touch on earlier. You're fighting not only into a double support, but into a Brightwing. Tanks are going to be very low. Has to be saved with the Leap of Faith. Herbitronic not going to be as lucky in the back. But of course, Sonya spins to win. Big D-Storm in the back. They're going to see Wolfie hit by that gravity lapse. Big stun coming out there. Moise dueling it out. Polymorph onto Alfie, jumps away with that disengage from the Gray Man, and a really solid trade from both the teams here. Every heroic use on the side of fancy Flightless Fowl, but they keep everyone alive.
Yeah, lots of back and forth going on here, and this entire match has just been a lot of traded damage going into Moore's healing, and that's a lot of CC going on to that Uther. He is going to be able to get out possibly. No, Anduin gets sucked up into the wall, and nothing he can do.
Twilight Dream coming out once again. This is how long they've been fighting. It's back. Gingy once again surrounded by 2, being bought by the tank and the support. Leo, though, once again traded out, but Sonya will go down. Alfie trying to keep themselves alive. Big damage coming in onto Rayvar there once again. Objective has been picked up by the members of Kryix Tempest. Is going to go over to them. Blood Knight not able to get there quick enough. Was looking to maybe contest the globe, but doesn't want to risk anyone else going down. Run, Gingy, run!
Yeah, they are out for blood this time around, and it's been back and forth on both sides. But Kryix Tempest has had a pretty good strong hold against all of the advances. They've only mid fort is looking in trouble, but with these objectives pushing in, they're a little bit stronger than me. I'm gonna guess that they're still gonna try to play somewhat safe because they're still not 16 yet. But with this rotation here, it looks like it could be different as the ice wall goes down.
Herbitronics going in. Ball Lightning has been cast. We do see that Wrath come out, and the fort doesn't take so much as a scratch. They're able to clear out mid. Down in the bottom, Alfie was able to dispose of bot pretty quickly. And then in the top, KT's starting to get some work in. The gate is gone. The towers, potentially this bottom one going down here, but once again, the objective on its own, not necessarily the greatest.
Yeah, definitely the boss is getting just about as much work done as the objective itself. It is more widespread damage, but that's another Pyroblast that I just don't know if that's gonna... Well, okay, the Brightwing's shield is still there, but now Brightwing herself is down low, and oh, that turnaround was so massive! All of the damage going out into the red team, and yeah, it looks like we're getting away from this one.
Wolf gonna pick off Uther there. Gingy, the only one left running for their life with that move speed at level 7. And this is a good reminder, everyone, that a fleeing victim is not a scared victim. They chased them just a little bit too far and end up losing the whole team.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. They keep on going into these moments where it looks like they have a good engage, but then they try to use everything that they have. The blue team just backs up a little bit, regains position, and dives right back in for the turnaround. This has happened multiple times.
Thank you for the 69 bits, Tetcher.
Nice.
middle keep is going to go down. Exactly what you said, Plur. You're going to see a little bit more of an engage here. The only person you can really hope to get on top of right now is Cassia, and she's got so much beef, so much support protecting her. You try and get on top of Malfurion, instantly root sleep. You try to get on top of Brightwing, Polymorph. The other two are so beefy. Leoric's really been the only one they can pick off, and that isn't who you want to be focusing. He has that trait value. He'll be back as soon as you kill him practically. He can hang out in the fight. He can provide vision to whatever you're doing. If I'm fancy Flightless Fowl right now, I am so frustrated.
Oh, for sure. But it looks like they're actually going to go for a sneaky boss play here, hoping that they don't get caught out. Brightwing is nearby. We'll see if she manages to scout it out. She doesn't look like he's going to be looking in there, just trying to safe soak the wave. Now it looks like they're actually going to be going for objective. They did manage to get that boss out, as nobody's been looking up in there. As we were saying, it's almost as powerful as the objective itself, and so let's see how much it can do with a free push.
When he left to his own devices, that boss will get that fort. We'll see if anybody goes back to clear it, as you mentioned. Down on the bottom, Brightwing is soaking away. They want to get that 20 in. The members of Fancy Flightless Fowl know they have to fight here. 23 seconds. They still have plenty of time to look to go in and engage. Ice Wall comes out, catches two members. Root on to Sonya in the back. Herbatronic spinning a win. Light Bomb comes out, going to find the stun. They're only going to be able to find Leo there. Huge lockdown onto Moist, who is having a miserable game this time around. Twilight Dream comes out. Will to Live has got a face full of bomb, spreading so beautifully. Rayvar taking quite a bit of damage as well. Herbatronic going to be let back to safety. That is going to be the objective, going over with the team fight not done yet. Big sleep going to put an end to it, but Rayvar comes back in. Rayvar, you are out, you fool. He goes down, tanks to the very slow bridge to death. They wanted the blood, they wanted it, and now they pay Alfie. He's got the lust, he's coming after him, but finally it's gonna be the 2-0. What a play.
Didn't manage to get that play in time to stop the objective, but being able to take out two members right there is going to definitely help them to defend against this. The mid is already gone. The bottom is soon going to follow. I don't even know if it's going to get this entire fort.
Team is jumping on top of it. Moist had to back away, and a really great play as bottom will end up falling there. They grabbed Cassia in that fight. This is 99.9% of the push that Kryix Tempest has to offer. So without the Cassia, they can't really do much. This whole objective they fought so long and hard over is going to be cleared out for free.
Yeah, and like you said in that fight, it's been a bit of a problem for Moist to getting all of this focus, and I don't know if it's actually intentional or not, but a lot of that healing has definitely not been going towards him. As we see a case in point here again, he just gets jumped on and bullied, and but they are going to try to go for some revenge.
Oh, Jinji is able to get away. Alfie is left all by his lonesome. Leap of Faith, though, going to save the day. Ball Lightning comes out. Alfie able to jump away. And they try to find the counter kill, are not going to do so quite yet. The Ice Wall, really the only engage that Kryix Tempest have, not being able to find anybody with it, means they're just going to have to back away.
Yeah, they definitely were okay with taking that fight because they saw Sonya up in top, and so they knew that it was still going to be basically a 4v4. But especially with Moist coming back up soon, he's positioning fairly aggressively, so they might not even be done.
And Tomb, a very real possibility here, but it looks like Red Team is just going to skedaddle away, have other things to deal with on the map. They got to get the true boss. So, going to head over to Knowles. Meanwhile, boss is going to be started by Kryix Tempest down here in the bottom lane.
That's very interesting. I wonder, they have to know that they are just giving it up like that, because that is where they were positioning for. And I think they just did not want to engage. I'm gonna guess it's because they still had two ultimates on cooldown, but they are rotating in now, and definitely way too late, and possibly even in a bad position. No, it looks like they are gonna get out.
Maybe hoping they could take that a lot faster than they could, given the fact that there isn't a whole lot of damage that Kryix Tempest can do to these camps. So we've seen it with the Gnolls, right? They've been so slow. So they did take the boss actually pretty slowly there. Not as slow as Fancy Flightless Fowl would have liked, but enough so that they're going to clear this for free, head back. Of course, it does not come without any repercussions, as once again, objective has been started by the blue team.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be in a good position here. It's going to be hard to get in there to stop this objective. But it looks like they are going to just kind of smash into there with a bit of a KT flank onto this Cassia. Lots of damage going in, followed by the light bomb.
Little bit of a miscommunication there. Lots of stuff happening. Buried alive and ice wall overlapping. Alfie, though, is going to end up going down. Electronics is very low as well. The objective, once again, going over. Big D-Storm coming in. Redemption once again for Uther, so he will be back. Blood Knight trying to stay alive. Jinji trying to keep him alive as well with the 2 healers. It should be done fairly easily. Tanksta is there, but it's not going to be enough. The root comes in. That's a dead KT. It's only the supports left. Keep looking to go down here. 13 seconds on the Entomb. Big stun coming out. Keep goes down. Are they going to look to end here? Typically, we see 2 forts need to go down. 2 keeps need to go down before you can end the core.
Yeah, that core with the extra armor from those keeps makes it very hard to kill him down. But when he has only 1 or no of those bars left, he's a very squishy boy.
Objective was stalled by the defenders, but is going to be picked up once again and completed here. This will give time for Fancy Flightless Fowl to buy back. Everyone's pushing in. It looks like they're going to try and go for the win with just the 1 keep down.
No, they're positioning to try to get that extra
go.
keep there. Yeah, there we go. They have a huge wave down here, so it's definitely worth trying to push this forward. And there goes the ice wall.
Moist, very low once again. Just let him play the game, guys.
Brightwing didn't even bother teleporting in at that point.
Poor Moist, you know, given the soak, setting up the beautiful Entomb, saving the day. Light Bomb gonna come out, but the Cryo Freeze will put an end to it. Big damage coming through. Uther gonna end up going down. Pyro is dropped on Bridge to death. They do survive. Spin into win. Hermetronics in the back, just being a menace there. Finally, Uther Ghost does go down. Do have objectives on the core and on the keeps. Alfie's trying to keep that away. Keep does go down, and now the members do have a chance to end it here. Jinji not gonna get stunned out there. Try and get away. Bridge to death is very low. We're caught in the ice wall once again. The core is sitting at about 50% health. Anduin going to go down.
Yeah, it looks like this might just be it as the team comes down. Doesn't catch anybody, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's so low they can't even stay engaged, and the health on the core is going down. That's GG. Well played, Kryix Tempest.
Kryix Tempest pulling it out at the last second. Really great fight there from Fancy Flightless Fowl. They had the ideas, they had the components, it just wasn't there today. Still, nevertheless, a great series and well played to them.
Yeah, definitely strong back and forth there. I want to really highlight the fact that with the Pyroblast, as you mentioned right when you saw it, it was very confusing as to why that was there. Brightwing saw that and immediately picked up, probably was going to go it anyway just because of the KT damage, but picked up that 25 spell armor on the Pixie Dust. As you saw in that last fight, it was the only time that Pyroblast ever got a good chunk out of anybody, and that was because it was right when that Pixie Dust ended up ending early, so it was able to get the full damage in.
Absolutely, and it's something, you know, we always wonder, maybe they thought we can use it on the Cassia with our big wombo combo, something like that. It's just really have to ask them one of these days how it's supposed to work. Because again, Brightwing, you know, has always been kind of the pyro counter, really the magic damage counter. Phoenix could have provided them a lot of zone control, especially with Mei and Leo constantly wanting to go in. But they had a plan. It just didn't work out this time.
Definitely good good fights on both sides. Like the entire game was just constantly a slugfest. We spent so much time in draft talking about the macro, and the teams were just like, "No, I just want to fight." So we just got constant scrappy fights over and over again. I should have realized that that's what we were going to get it as soon as I saw the second healer come in, because they're like, "All right, you want to brawl? Let's do it."
For sure. Yeah, all them. I wonder if they'll just push. No, they're just gonna fight. Are being pinged for the interview. I told him, I'm like, yeah, just hop in. I'll be right there. And now we're going to hop into an interview. I'm going to head over to, let's go lobby 2.
All right.
Alrighty, folks. So we're just going to wait for one of the members of Kryix Tempest to hop in with us. And there they are. We're joined by Bridge to Nowhere. Congratulations on your win. How you feeling?
Oh, we're feeling great. It was a good, clean game. We're feeling good after that clean 2-0. So
absolutely. Now, you couldn't even give the boy one win on his birthday.
it would be unfair of me to go easy, or for us to go easy on him just because it was his birthday.
Absolutely.
We respect him a lot as a team, so we would never intentionally throw.
Yeah, of course. I'm just giving you guys a hard time. For you guys who don't know, it is Alfie's birthday today, so if you see him around, make sure to wish them a happy birthday. But yeah, really great plays. So game number 1, you guys take us to Infernal Shrines. And they managed to pick up some heavy hitters. They get the Falstad, they get the Uther, and those are some, really, really sought after contested picks. Do you guys worry at all, or did you have a plan just in motion already?
We kind of expected him to go into it based on our bans. Uther tank is pretty popular right now with double support. And we've kind of found that Mei does a pretty good job at counteracting that just because of her AoE CC. And the ability to isolate with either snowball or ice wall. Like you can isolate people and then focus someone outside of ice wall, or you can start your engage on the ice wall targets themselves. So she feels as far as like going into double support, we felt pretty confident because we've had success with Mei going into it. So yeah, I mean, we kind of expected, and we played around already, so we weren't too worried about it. We knew what we needed to do, and we did that. So it worked out for us.
Yeah, I definitely saw a lot of really good control on that Mei. They were very good at being able to control zone and just basically not give any sort of good vibes onto the Flightless Fowls.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, looking at your draft a little bit, you guys ended up going with a Junkrat. Now, that's not something we typically...
You can call him Junkrat. That's appropriate because Will is drunk very often.
I mean, amateur hot's all about grabbing a beer and playing with your buddies, right?
Oh, yeah,
So,
for
yeah,
sure.
you guys grabbed the Junkrat. Now, is this a typical pick for you? Is it something that they like to play? Tell us about the Junkrat pick.
You want to talk about it, Moist?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for those who may have not have known, we were Tainted Orphans from season 9 or season 10?
Yes, it was 2 seasons ago.
So 2 seasons ago. And Junkrat was one of Will's favorite heroes back then, and Junkrat is just something that's not really popping up recently just because of the way the meta is. But we felt like we could make it work here, and he was really wanting to play it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was definitely getting a lot of advantage, as we saw with both the highest damage and siege damage. Was very good about being able to get that constant poke in, and with them being double support, they were much more willing to take that damage, but it added up and exhausted them of their resources pretty quick.
The fun thing about that match is, I'm not sure if you noticed, both me as the Sonya on the off lane and the Junkrat had the exact same siege damage at the end.
I didn't notice that.
It highlighted on the Junkrat, and we briefly looked at it, but that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So, you guys took the bottom tower for that first Punisher. In your guys' opinion, do you think it's really worth it to go for the first Punisher anymore?
It really just depends on your comp, I think. For us, we knew that early game they were gonna have a stronger pad because they had dragon and double support. So we felt like earlier game, and because we scaled pretty well as well. So early game with Sylve, it's just kind of like you get value regardless if you know get siege bot or
Mhm.
opposite of the objective. So it just kind of played for us that way, and I mean we got a lot of value out of it, and it helped us have a pretty solid early game, you know, to spring us into the talent advantages. So yeah, I mean it was something that I feel like for our comp specifically it worked really well. Not necessarily every time is something that you would do, but if for the situation that we were in, it was solid for us.
Of
Yeah,
course.
as a Sylvanas, being able to see that first objective all the way in top lane is the most glorious thing you want to see.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, that's all I have for game number 1. Do you have any questions, Plur, about game number 1?
No, you actually asked the ones I was thinking of. It was very well played. I liked how you guys basically were focused on the macro, but we're not scared of that team fight. Let's how about we talk about like near the end of the game where they did start winning those team fights and we're coming back. It was right before you guys were 20. How are you feeling around that time? What were comms like?
You want to take it?
Yeah, sure. Well, after the 13, the Falstad got a big power spike. Like, for me, as the Sonya, I went from I can do something to I have to really watch where I'm stepping, otherwise the Falstad just shreds me in an instant with that giant killer.
Oh, for
So
sure.
going into like the level 20, we know we have to look out for dragon, possibly double dragon, the silence tomb. So we're just looking to really, really slow down the engagement and bait as much out as we can with the Junkrat and playing around with the traps.
Yeah, that was very noticeable, especially on that last fight. That with all of those level 16s and the level 20 on that Alexstrasza, that dragon lasted forever, and you guys just kept on basically trying to be like, "Hey, come fight us," but you wouldn't actually fully take an engage, and until it was all basically ready for you.
You know, and I even felt like the clock ticking on us as well because of that time. Because I'm playing Wrath Sonya, I have to make sure I'm keeping my Wrath up. So it's a battle of can I keep my Wrath up longer than the dragon is existing, which I did.
Yeah, that for sure
Absolutely.
was huge.
So, game number 2, just right out the gate. Moista, how did you avoid tilting into Oblivion? Because like us watching you there, I felt so bad. I was like, let him play, please.
Hey, which part? What do you mean?
Well, just the fact that every single team fight, you know, you got Brightwing there, you got Malfuri, you got Cassie, and they were like, let's just kill Leo. Like just kill Leo, forehead.
I mean, that's just part of the Leo. I mean, it works out. Like, you know, Leo death trait, you come back faster. If there's anyone to die, the Leo's the best one to die, just because of that.
Yeah,
So,
you died multiple times getting plus on that trade.
so not even worried about it. Just living the trait value life.
It's value, yeah.
Living
That's
the Leo
trait
life.
value. That's trait value, yeah, for sure.
I was wondering a few times there if the healers were intentionally just avoiding it because they were like, "Oh, we need to make sure that the Cassia doesn't die." Like
That's our
Leo,
carry.
Leo will deal with the whatever, but Cassia, we got to make sure that doesn't die.
Absolutely. There was once at the end where they were just blowing you up, and we're like, poor Moist, and like neither healer just gave a shit. Like, just Cassie has
Brightwing
full
is
health,
still
and
in
there's like,
top lane.
yeah, but Brightwing is in top lane. Like Malfurion sees him, he's just like, all right, and rejuve the Cassia. And I was like, damn, that's real like unlucky, ice cold. But no, really, really great job, you guys. What we were kind of laughing about was we were talking about how much macro you need to have on this map, how much you know you need to push different heroes that come out like Illidan and Abathur and Asmodan just to push a lane, and then you proceeded to team fight the entire time. So, is that just the Tempest way? Was it because of this team?
I think that's just kind of how the double support versus double support comp works.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was mentioning too.
It's a lot of. I mean, we have the Brightwing for the the macro global presence, but a lot of what we needed to do was win fights. So because if they have people down, we can just punish that a lot. Whether it's like forcing a camp on their side or forcing a boss, something to get them away from what we were trying to look at is super important, and like that happens by winning team fights ultimately, and it might have been happening probably more than a normal game, but that's just kind of how double supports work.
Right.
For sure.
Absolutely. So looking through here, you guys had a very interesting double support comp here. Malfurion Brightwing. Was that an adjustment on the fly? And feel free to say no comment if we're getting, too much into the the draft
Draft theory.
vault. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was just more on the fly, and it worked out.
Sure thing.
And
So
Malph's a good hero.
Yeah, Mouth.
Makes
If you didn't
sense.
know, the Mouth 1 talent is kind of busted.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
when I saw that, I was kind of expecting you to maybe take the less healing talent, but after you like
no.
that sleep is just so strong, and
yeah.
the way you guys were able to utilize it was just so on point.
Yeah, it's just in coordinated play. It's just so good. It's just like a full like 3-second CC. It's very strong.
Absolutely. So they started getting ahead a little bit in the early game, a little bit in the mid game, snuck a couple of bosses out from underneath you. Were you concerned at all, or were you just waiting for your power spikes?
Can't really say that we were too worried about the bosses. A lot of the times when, especially because it was double support comps, it took them a long time to even do the bosses, in which case they were committing a lot of resources. Like a lot of the times it was either 4 or 5 heroes on them, at which point we can come back if we were falling behind on macro, retake control of the map, and the bosses on that map don't really do a whole lot.
Right.
So we're not really too concerned when people do boss plays on it.
Sure thing. Any more questions
Yeah,
from you, Plur? I'll go right ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that I was noticing both the times there was like major boss plays happening, both teams ended up just backing away. So I thought that was quite interesting that like the priority on those bosses wasn't that strong. It was like you were definitely fighting over just about everything, but it was almost every time the boss was taken, it was without that much of an engage. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for that boss that we took, it was just because they had so much showing mid that we knew that they were probably taking their camp, and we had enough damage to do it in time before they could even rotate. So that one was just kind of like a patience thing. We were kind of sitting, waiting to see what they would do as well, just because their lanes were so pushed up that they had to show at some point to clear mid. And the second that they did, we were able to just capitalize on the boss. So they really weren't able to contest because they had to clear mid. But yeah, so the bosses on that map aren't really that strong,
Right.
unless
Not worth
like
dying
they
over.
can't really do anything unless there's already 2 keeps down. Like a boss can solo the core if it's 2 keeps down, but other than that, they don't really pose much of a threat.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, great job tonight, guys. Fantastic plays. I'm going to turn the floor over to you now for any shout outs, any call outs you want to do within reason. All yours.
Okay. Well, I guess first thing is shout out to Kryix esports, are the people that kind of manage us and do all the stuff behind the scenes for us.
Oh no, I
Thank you
knew I was saying it wrong.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Yeah. Luckily, a crazy hobo decided to adopt us, and he's done well for us. So thank you, Kobo. Thank you to my teammates, our team, all of y'all. Y'all do wonderful. Everyone, as much as we don't get a lot of time to practice together, we still manage to do well. So I appreciate y'all for being good players. Shout out to, I guess, y'all, caster. Not I guess, that is a definite shout out to casters for giving us some commentary alongside this gameplay. It's really appreciated, and it's always good to look forward to going back and watching the VOD and seeing the gameplay from another perspective. And then shout out to NGS as a whole for holding a tournament and an organization to where we can come and still play HOTS in a competitive level. I think that's it for me. I don't know if Matt, you have any.
Not really anything off the top of my head. Shout out to Bridge for giving shout outs.
All right. That's good.
Alrighty, guys. Well, great job today. After this match, you will be in second place, just behind Wildheart Omega. Huge congratulations. You played an absolutely amazing series. And we'll actually see you back here on Friday.
Double Jinxeekatt. I'm excited.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting to me. Have a wonderful evening. I'll release you back to the team to go celebrate your win.
All right, you have a good night.
Thank you, you as well. Alrighty. I'm going to give Plur a call back, and then they'll be able to plug themselves, and we'll send the raid over to somebody really fun. So let me get you back on the screen. Need to find all my buttons. Alrighty.
Hello.
Hello. All right. Now let's get him back on the stream. So I always close it so you don't just see like the gross Discord.
Yeah.
There he is. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again
definitely.
in the future. Where can folks find you?
So I'm not doing too much. I've gotten a lot more streaming going on recently, and at twitch.tv/PLURninja. I do a little bit of Twitter, but that's usually just my go live notifications or in the Discords there, here and there. But yeah, I do a lot of variety gaming, and I hope to be able to start doing some of these castings myself. Right now, I'm just basically a co-caster because these people are freaking awesome doing all of this amazing work to get this stuff working. And I'm so appreciative that I was able to come on and watch these games. This was really fun.
Yeah, it was so great to see you. Thank you so much. And remember, everybody, I'm Jinxeekatt. You can find me here. I do this full time now, so if you can donate, then definitely do, because I live on your scraps. I'm so hungry. No, really. Thank you guys so much. Even if you guys can't donate monetarily, I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. You know, just stopping by and dropping a smiley face or coming in and cheering on your friends is really, really awesome. So thank you. I didn't wear my pin tonight, but I have these super cool pins that you can kind of see. Not really, because my lighting setup is weird. There we go, kind of. Exclamation mark pins in chat. Get you one of those. They're $6. And I don't know. I'll send you some of my cat stickers with them because they're really neat. So thank you guys.
Stickers.
Yeah, I have the coolest cat stickers. Like you think you got some cool cat stickers. I have some cool cat stickers.
I'll have to check those out for sure.
But I will be on the NGS channel with Goon casting Storm Division on Wednesday, and then Friday we're going to be doing another Kryix Tempest game. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Once again, huge thank you to PLURninja. I dropped their link in chat, so you can go ahead and give them a follow. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye, friends.